Let's rev those engines and burn those tires because it's time for Top End Talk with Nitro Allie.
All right, thank you so much, Bob Beck, for that introduction, and welcome everybody to Top End Talk with Nitro Allie. I'm your host, Nitro Allie, and I am here with my very special guest, 20-time Wally winner, Irwindale Track champion, and the 2025 January Peak into the Future Racer of the Month, Jacelyn Gonzaga. How you doing, Jacelyn?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for coming on tonight. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for this opportunity.
Absolutely. Now, just to kind of get right into it, you're a junior dragster driver for the NHRA, and you drive a 790 bracket car and a junior comp bracket dragster. Can you tell everyone a little bit about those cars and those specific classes?
Yes, of course. So the junior comp is index, and it's a 690 index. I have a 2007 Visions chassis with a Suzuki GSXR 1000 motor and MTC clutch. That's for the junior comp. And for the 15 through 17 790 junior, it's a 2014 half scale chassis with a Nick Woods top shelf 3.5 motor and a Terminator clutch.
Excellent. Excellent. So the junior comp runs about how fast in the eighth mile?
Top speed is 105 in an eighth.
Eighth mile. And you're going, what is it, about 6.9?
6.9 seconds.
Awesome. And then about how fast does the 790 bracket car go?
790 is 85 miles an hour top.
Excellent, excellent. And those are definitely some names that you gave there. I know Nick Woods has been involved in motorsports and his entire family for a long time. And of course, he's related to former junior driver and now was a top fuel driver, Sean Langdon. So you got some history there and definitely some great background for Nick Woods. And also, Terminator blocks and clutches has been around for as long as I can remember. So you got some great products there that you're racing on your car. Now, was drag racing something that you on your own always wanted to do, or was it something that was inspired maybe as, from a family member?
Racing has been passed down in my family, but those were all guys and men. And I never really got the chance to learn about it because I was so young. But I found out that there was Street Outlaw, and I watched that every single night when I was falling asleep, and my dad thought that it was the most coolest thing ever. And, he introduced me to junior drag racing, and he took me out to an Irwindale series race, and I fell in love with it, and he got me my first car.
That's really nice that that your father just saw that your passion was there and really wanted to kind of feel that desire, no pun intended, but to, kind of get you exposure to something that you love. And now look at you, you're a 20-time Wally winner. Like that's literally pro status. Where do you store all those Wallies?
Actually, right behind me.
Oh, let's see. We got to see. Oh
All
my
right
gosh.
there.
I think you're going to need another rack and potentially a bigger room for everything that you
Yeah.
have. That's fantastic. And I was talking with Jim Campbell earlier, and he's like, that girl's got more Wallies than I do. And he drives pro. So, I mean, you're definitely up there.
That's crazy. I think it's a blessing to honestly get into the sport. I think it's a wonderful thing.
Awesome. Now let's back it way up, to the very very first time you won a Wally. For everybody, it's the most special thing in the world to go, I did that. I'm the best of the best. And you've done it 20 times. So let's go back to that first time. Tell us
So,
about that run and how you felt.
right. The first time I ever won a Wally, it was at Phoenix, Arizona. And I had a very small crew. It was my dad, it was Doug Witten, it was my mom, and this other family, the Hodges, Jake Hodges, Travis Hodges. And we were a small team. And I was very anxious because this was also my first ever Division 7 race. So stepping into new shoes in a new car with new people, new faces that I have never met before.
Mhm.
I never knew at such a young age how competitive it could be. So I want to say at least 4 or 5 rounds. I raced in the finals. My opponent, Troy Barton, red lit against me, and
Oh,
at that moment, I felt it. It's words can't describe this feeling. Joyous, ecstatic, proud. I know I made my dad cry that day,
mhm.
and I cried myself. So that was my first ever Wally win at Phoenix, Arizona.
That's fantastic. And just to clarify, that was that your first race ever or your first divisional event?
First race ever.
Oh my gosh. So that's just, showing the world right now that you have that natural born ability and skill set to win. And that's hard to come by. That's really hard to come by. So congratulations on that. And so how many years now total have you been racing?
I'm going on my ninth season, 8 years.
Awesome, awesome. And so, with that many years experience, there's got to be some, other than getting the Wally, some other really memorable events that, have occurred for you. What is the most memorable moment to date that you've experienced?
That that's a really good question. I think every race is memorable because it's a learning moment with my father, and I want to say either my first Division 7 championship
Mm-hmm.
or after COVID, I moved up into 890. So this is a bigger age group and with better people,
Mm-hmm.
more learning skills, and I just had 1 year of racing in the books. I moved up to 890. I had no idea what I was doing. I tried practicing my lights every single day that I could. My dad got me a practice tree. We practiced every single day. Um, we didn't win one first round in 2 years. And that was definitely a mental hardship for both my dad and I. And every single loss was a learning opportunity. And all of those combined really made us keep our heads up and just didn't let it knock us down.
Mm-hmm.
The first time I won again, passed first round and won the whole thing is at Irwindale. It was an Irwindale series race on a Sunday, and my dad and I, we did our thing and we talked scenarios. We didn't look at the ladder, and I went down the track. It was final round, and I cut like a 12 light. I was so proud of myself. I had a smile down the track, and I was looking over and I was like, I'm ahead. Like, this feels really good.
Mm-hmm.
Um, one light came on and I started crying because it was a very hard time to get beat up and knocked down every single first round. And in that moment, I knew that my dad and I could move on from this and we can do even better than we did the last 2 years. I really think that could be a memorable moment. And I know a lot of people wouldn't think that is like crazy, but in my heart, I went through a lot in those 2 years and I knocked myself down mentally. And, it was the mental hardship that I went through that made it so memorable that I can look back at it and compare to where I am right now.
Oh, I like that, because again, a lot of people don't realize the mental challenges that you face, whether just anything in life, but even especially something like this, where, you start off and you're a rock star, then you go up to another class where, again, everything is just faster. And you're dealing with other drivers that have probably been driving longer than you, in that particular class, and they're just on it. So it kind of messes with your head a little bit, and then kind of getting past that. So I can totally see while that, you overcame, that particular obstacle, making it extremely memorable. So let's just kind of turn the coin a little bit. You've had, just like any racer, many disappointments, or, hey, I messed this up, or I should have done that. We all make mistakes. We're human. That's what we do. What has been a mistake that you have made, or something that has turned into a very valuable learning moment in your racing career?
That's a great question. I think there's no specific mistake. I think every loss is a mistake, and everything, including into a loss, is what you can learn from. I take losses as a learning moment. My dad and I do. And we always, always, always work on it. I own up to what I know I did wrong. And sometimes I would argue with him that I wasn't the problem. But at the end of the day, it's mostly the driver, unless the motor blows up. But it's mostly the driver, and I definitely have learned from every single one of my losses, and those are all mistakes.
Well, let's be honest. Sometimes we know the crew chief has a lot to do with the operation of the car. Sorry, Dad, I'm throwing you under the bus on that one.
I didn't mean to point fingers.
Oh, I'll do it. It's okay. No problem. That's just the reality.
If the idle is too high, I'm blaming the red light on him.
Absolutely. But, at the end of the day, one thing that I can really appreciate from you is you're willing to own the mistakes, and there's so many youth that something is there, and it's not even youth, it's just people in general. They will not take accountability for their actions. It's always somebody else's fault, instead of doing that self-reflection of, you know what, I was asleep at the tree, or I jumped it, or whatever it was. I did it. I own it. My bad. I'm sorry, and then, moving forward from that, and it goes back to the old quote. I can't remember who said it specifically, but failure is success if you learn from it. So you can take every negative or anything that happens in racing or in life in general, and hey, there's a lesson learned from here, and it can make you grow and turn into a much better person. And I think you realize that, and that shows a lot of the maturity that you have, well beyond your years. So, high five to you on that one.
Thank you. Yeah, but I agree with that quote 1,000%.
Yeah. So, a lot of people sometimes are superstitious, if you will, or I've got to do this, or I've got to do that. Do you have any pre-run routine or ritual that you have to do every time?
I wouldn't say it's like big or whatever, but a big one is I always have to fist bump my dad before I go into pre-stage. Always. Like, there's not a time where I don't, hey, fist bump.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't, I will like wave my arms like this and be like, you forgot me, fist bump me. I always, always, always have to get a prayer in with a chaplain. No matter what round it is, don't care if it's a test tune, I don't care if it's a final, I need it every single round. And while I pray with the chaplains, Lee, Russ, or Sherry, I always hold on to this bracelet I have around my steering wheel. And it's a bracelet that I got at a morning chaplain service on a Sunday morning with Brad. Rest in peace. Love you, Brad.
For those that don't know, who's Brad?
He is, or was, a chaplain for the racing industry. And he passed with cancer. And, he has a wife, Sherry, that still comes around to the track and puts a smile on every single one of the racers' faces. Girls rule, boys drool, Sherry.
Yes.
He gave me a bracelet at a morning service, and I put it around my steering wheel, and I have never taken it off. So whenever I pray, I hold on to that, and I hold on to the chaplain's hand.
I think that's really beautiful, and I think it's very special that somebody who is no longer with us is looking down on you from heaven and still inspiring you and bringing you closer to God and keeping you safe during that run. And I think it would make him happy. And I know it's probably going to make Sherry cry when she sees this, because I know she's going to see this, knowing that Brad is still there, and just the impact that both of them have had on your life and to many racers in the junior program. So I think that's truly a very special, well, I don't want to call it a routine or ritual, but just a process that you go through, and I think it's great that you're bringing God into, your car and asking him to keep you safe and everything. So that's wonderful. So good for you on that. Now, a lot of kids have different racers that they look up to, and it might be in, circle track, or, there might be motocross or drag racing. Is there a racer that you really look up to that's inspired you?
A racer that I really look up to and I am inspired by is Sean Langdon. Sean Langdon, he raced juniors, but other than the juniors, he raced every single category to get up to where he is right now. And that's what I want to do, because I don't want to jump straight into top fuel when I know I'm not ready. Mm-hmm. But when I have the opportunity to, I would like to control it. And, he did that. And as much as he could have jumped straight into that, he decided to go every single step of the way, and I would like to do the same.
I think that's really important too, that you point that out, because a lot of times people have this mentality that, oh, I'm good at this and I can just jump into that. And it's really, very, very different type of racing. And you also want to earn the respect of your peers in the racing community. We're kind of earning your stripes, so to speak, as you're going through the different classes. And just to kind of point out, I think that's one of the reasons Tony Stewart got so much respect within the drag racing community, coming over from a different form of racing. He's like, no, even though I can jump right into top fuel, let me just start with top alcohol, get a feel for it. Let me earn the respect of people, knowing that I'm just not buying my way in, but then I'm actually going to be a respected racer in this new community that he is now heavily embraced within. So I applaud you for doing that and taking those steps to, again, earn your stripes and earn the respect that is needed, in those, higher ranks. So let's talk about your parents for a minute. I know parents are a huge part of of their children's success, and I know that they have inspired you, they've motivated you, and I want this to be your very special time where you can look into the camera as if you're talking to mom and dad and let them know how much you appreciate them.
I really don't want to get emotional, but oh my gosh.
Hey, let it out. It's absolutely okay.
Obviously, they play a crucial role in shaping on who you become, because, they are by you every single step since you're born. And they shaped me into the person who I am today. And, we have been through a lot as a family, and they've laid the foundation for my personal growth and character. And my mom, she pushes me to be the best person I can be in school, whether it's, sports, at home, just with peers. And my dad, he always, always, always tells me, treat others the way you want to be treated, because you never know what's going to happen in the future. And he always loves, like, being nice to even someone he knows that doesn't like him. Mm-hmm. And he always wants me to reflect that. They've taught me everything that I need to know to be an adult, to be grown, to be mature. I can't thank them enough. My dad, he is the most, both of my parents, they're both so selfless. My dad always wants to put a smile on my face when it comes to racing, and we both have that bond for racing. So no matter if he's going to be there at the track or not, he wants me to be there. So he flew me out to Tennessee to race with another racing family, the Pyres and the Oliveras. So I thank them. But my dad, he went out of his way to get my car there, but he had a football game, so he couldn't be there. But he knows that was always my dream since I was 9 years old. And my mom, she knows that working out makes me more focused and more calm. So she always makes sure I'm on top of my working out, and she always makes sure I'm respectful and, you know, be the best person who I am today. So, wow, I can't thank them enough, but I love them so much, and I don't know what I would do without them.
No, that's really beautiful. And I can sense the emotion. And thank you so very much, just because you got my eyes watering a little bit. But, that's okay, and that's what it's supposed to be. And, it's really beautiful that are feeling, it's okay, feeling emotional, because it's sincere. And, your parents do so much. And sometimes kids are so thankless, and they don't want to show that respect, and you obviously do, and you're grateful for everything that they do, and a lot of that goes to how they raised you. I think you have a wonderful set of parents that want the best for you, and they teach you right from wrong, and how to be respectful to your peers and everyone else. And it's probably because they're the same way. So I think your parents deserve a pretty good pat on the back and round of applause for the wonderful young woman that they have raised, so good job for them.
I haven't always been this wonderful young woman. I used to kick football players in their shins when I was 4 years old. So really, they have done their jobs, like, seriously, because I honestly don't know what I would do without them.
Well, and here's the thing, mom and dad, because I know that they're going to be watching this later, that they are molding somebody to represent the sport of drag racing in the most professional way possible, and that was one of the many reasons, actually probably the primary reason, that you were selected this month. So, kudos to mom and dad on that. So let's kind of switch it up a little bit. I'm going to throw kind of a hard question at you that I would say a lot of adults have difficulty answering, okay, to be very honest with you. But I do believe that you're incredibly intelligent, obviously. You got that 4.0 GPA. But I know, as you're well aware, it's been devastating that we are losing tracks, definitely the most recent being Irwindale. With that, how do you think we can grow drag racing or just motorsports in general, with our limited access to tracks here in Southern California?
Right. So while I was at Irwindale, my dad and we always brought an extra junior to, display at our pit. And it was a licensed car. And my dad and I slowly did like this license school. So, some little kids would come up to me and be like, I want to be like you. And I want to drive fast cars. And I want to hop into that thing, put a helmet on, and press the gas pedal and go. Slow it down. But we like to open up the opportunity for other, kids to license, and not just at Irwindale where we were at, many different tracks. We want to open up the tracks and expand the people, and no matter how old you are, you don't have to be a little kid. I've licensed 5 little kids at my rate, and you don't have to be 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. You can go out and watch a race, see how easy it is to get into the racing industry. You don't have to have a fancy, crazy car. You can really just go out there and, come on the track. There's high school age groups. There's so many different age groups that you can really just hop into. It's really not hard. Just expanding it into different tracks and getting a lot of people out there and spectating and even participating.
Awesome. So I know you said that, you had brought this junior to Irwindale, which again, sadly, it's gone. Uh, with schedule for the coming year, where will you be racing, and will you be bringing that junior dragster with you at that time so you can kind of continue to grow the sport as you have been so successful at doing?
Yes, of course. Our new home track will be Bakersfield. And of course, we are going to bring the license car, and I might open up the opportunity to my 790 junior if, older kids in high school
Mhm.
don't just want to drive a door car and maybe want to get into dragsters. I'm opening up my car to people my age for the 790 category if they would really want to. But obviously, like, slow it down just a little bit. You don't have to jump straight into it. You can also try a lot of other things. But
Awesome. That's really great. I love that even though you were been faced with the obstacle of losing your home track, you have found a new home. And I know that they've got the ANRA up there. Butch runs a great program for the kids. I know he claims to be the grumpy old man, but he would do anything for the kids up there. You know it just as well as I do. He's a
yes,
big teddy bear, and he's probably going to get mad at me for saying that and blowing his cover, but that's all right. He's always cruising around on his scooter. But I think that that's really wonderful that you are going to do that. And just for families that are watching this that are thinking about getting their child into junior dragsters, and again, they might be a little bit older, not the 5, 6, 7, 8 year old, that hey, they're a teenager, that you guys are offering that potential opportunity where there is a car they can license. It is something for them to try out without that investment of going, oh, we don't know, and then the child not wanting to do it. You're giving them, basically, it's kind of a risk free, if you will, opportunity to try a junior dragster. So I think that's really awesome. And again, you guys are being great ambassadors to the Junior Drag Racing League.
thank you. There's also high school and junior street where you can take a regular everyday car, have your parent in the passenger seat, put a helmet on, and see what actually being on the track feels like, because I think everyone deserves to try it out and be behind the wheel for once. And I think it's a great experience, honestly.
And I have to agree with you on that. And there's not a lot of exposure about the Junior Street program. And for those of you that don't know, I believe it starts at age 13. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I believe it's 13. And you just, like you said, have to ride in with mom or dad in there. And really, your only investment is a helmet. You can drive the everyday grocery getter that mom has or whatever it is. And, it might be, 15, 16, 17-second car. It doesn't matter, but you're still on the track. You're still racing. You're still doing it in a safe, controlled environment. You're still supporting the track, and you're growing the sport. So I think we definitely need to draw a little bit more awareness to that fabulous program that the NHRA developed. I think probably, 8, 10 years ago, I think, something in that ballpark. We'll have to check my facts on that one.
Yeah, I honestly, I didn't even find out until junior street high school until a couple years ago. I want to say like 3 years ago.
Yeah, it's been around not very long, but it's starting to grow. And I think we definitely need to get a little bit more emphasis on that. Now, you have done a few things in your young life that some people will never put on, we'll just say, their resume. Let's talk about the Junior Olympics for a minute. Would you mind sharing that story and that exciting experience with us?
Yes, of course. I'd love to.
Yeah.
When I was when I was 10, 11 years old, I was on a cross country team, and it was a club team. My mom threw me into track and field when I was 6 years old because my sister also did it. But I had a thing for longer distance. So she put me into cross country, and I ended up having 100% talent for it. And, we went 1 year with regular club, and I decided to push it a little further. And I had this team of 4 or 5 girls, and we decided that we could try for a Junior Olympics. So we trained every single day, and there was two back-to-back Junior Olympics back in when I was running, and there was one in Florida and one in Kentucky. So we fly the whole team out to Florida, and we train in Florida. We get used to the weather, and we go on like 5 mile runs every single day. And this was also during COVID, so we also had online school at the time.
Oh, wow.
So we would wake up at like 5, 6 in the morning. We would go on a 5 mile run. We would come back, do our online classes, and we would have a team bonding experience. And we were in Florida for a week before the actual race. We ended up placing number one as a team, got a gold medal in Florida. And we decided, why not try getting another one in Kentucky? Overall in Florida, I think I placed 20th out of, I don't know how many girls, like 200 girls.
Oh, wow.
200, 300 girls, something like that. And then the team was like so hyped up, and we decided to go for the double championship. And so we went to Kentucky. It was at least like 20 degrees out.
Oh, wow.
I know, it was freezing. We were in Kentucky for 2 days. We didn't do any training because, we just ran in the first Junior Olympics not too long ago, and, body needs rest and recovery. But we did end up doing a little ab workout, whatever, and some lactic acid running, but it wasn't anything too big. We end up placing number one in Kentucky as well. We got back-to-back gold medals in the Junior Olympics for cross country as a 11, 12-year-old age category.
Wow.
We made history. No one ever won back-to-back Junior Olympic titles. So
that is impressive. I mean, especially from somebody that doesn't run unless chased, what can I say? True story on that one. But I mean, that is really impressive. I mean, you work so hard on so many things, you go after your goals, and you accomplish them. Who are you? You're like super child, So that is, and you represented our country, and now you're representing our sport on a phenomenal level. So good for you. Good for you. And again, good for mom and dad with supporting you on that, because I know it was probably kind of expensive, flying you around everywhere, but they're doing everything that they can to support you, your dreams, and help you achieve your goals.
I wouldn't have gotten 2 gold medals if it weren't for my mom. At first I hated the thought of cross country. I hated the thought of running more than a mile. But she told me I could do it, and she threw me out there, and I wouldn't have done it without her, truly.
Awesome. Well, and from my understanding, you are the captain of your soccer team, the captain of your track and field team. You race, and you also volunteer at the local animal shelter. I don't know how you find the time, but what got you involved or got you interested in volunteering at the shelter?
I've always had a strong love for dogs, and as the fires were happening, the shelter was very stressed out. But what made me want to start volunteering at an animal shelter was how sad, like, it really is for these dogs to not have homes, because, I have 4 dogs myself, and one of them is from the shelter that I do volunteer at. But I think that like all the animals deserve love, and I volunteer there so they know that they are loved and they will find someone eventually. I want to get them out of their kennels and play with them. The ones who don't really get enough attention, I like to aim for those more. I can't take out every single one of them. I wish I could, but definitely my love for dogs, period, made me want to volunteer at the animal shelter.
So let me get this straight. You're incredibly intelligent. Beautiful girl. Look at the money making smile right there, you know. Very athletic. You've got leadership qualities because again, you're leading your soccer team and your track and field team. You're a mentor. You've licensed 5 kids in the junior dragster program. You're a lifesaver. You saved a dog's life, and I know you wish you could save them all, but it's just not possible. And that's got to be devastating, you know.
It breaks my heart, truly. It does.
I can only imagine, you know, but I'm looking at all these amazing qualities that you bring, and just you're such a good, well-rounded person. So, you know, like, wow. Any sponsor out there that wants to sponsor someone, you need to go after Jacelyn because look at all of these things, and she's going to represent you very well. So let's make it fun for a minute. Everyone's got, again, you know, quirky things. I love asking this question to people. Something quirky about you or something that people just didn't know about you. Is there anything about you that you'd like to share?
I want to say I do have something no one really knows about me. I have a half fake tooth.
Oh, okay.
It's something no one knows about me because I'm really like an open person and I don't really hide a lot of things. But I think that is like the most embarrassing thing because like everyone says I have like perfect teeth and you know I went through braces or whatever, but I had my front tooth was cracked and I have had a filling in for at least a good 6 years.
Wow. Well, good for you. And you know what? I think that's kind of inspiring where you're kind of pointing out something that some people would be like, "Oh my gosh," where you're like, "Hey, it is what it is. It's life and you look fabulous anyway." You know. So, I was also told you have some really cool family heritage, family history, you know, just from your families from all over the place.
Yes, that is correct. I am Dominican, Puerto Rican, Filipino, white, Chinese. So that is also something no one knows about me. Because no one can really tell all of that just from looking at me. A lot of people think that I'm just Asian. A lot of people think I'm just black. A lot of people think I'm just like everything in the regions. But yeah, that is definitely something people don't know about me. Family history is huge in my family because we are from a lot of different places, and I do like to embrace my ethnicities a lot. So thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah. Well, does that, just since we're on that topic, do you do anything special around different holidays that will honor the cultures that you come from? Or is it more just kind of the traditional, if you will, American style? Or do you guys do anything special?
On my dad's side, it's really just a Filipino thing.
Okay.
And that's what I always look forward to because I think Filipino food is like my top favorite food.
Lumpia right here all day long.
Oh, yes. My favorite is pancit. They're noodles with a lot of different, anyways. But the traditions of holidays and stuff on my dad's side is always Filipino food. And on my mom's side, you know, there's a little bit of different Puerto Rican stuff, Puerto Rican rice, and just how they season stuff. It's crazy. My grandma has the best recipes in the world.
Grandmas always do.
Always. Like, never underestimate them. But my grandma always cooks for holidays on my mom's side, and then on my dad's side, it's just Filipino food, always.
I love it. I want to go to your house.
I think you should. You can have a taste of Puerto Rican and Filipino at the same time.
I love it. I love it. Awesome. Well, I know with drag racing, we all know it takes money, it takes parts, it takes people, and so sponsors are critical to the success of any driver. Would you like to kind of give a shout out to some of the sponsors and people that have supported you during your racing career thus far?
Yes, of course. My sponsors, Nick Woods, Jeff Jones, Hoosier Tires, Proline Wraps, California Car Covers, and TH Specialized. And I honestly wouldn't have gone anywhere without mom and dad's credit card. It's good. It's okay. But definitely all the junior families who have helped, because the junior families, honestly, they, no matter if you have them in the next round, whoever you're going against will help you. If you are like aren't having are having troubles with your car and you can't find out what's wrong, they will help you. Oh, you don't have a part? Oh, a different family will help you. And it's
Mhm.
just that whole community that treats everyone like family. Definitely couldn't have gone anywhere without the Hodges family, Doug Witten, um, definitely my parents,
Yeah.
Jones family, just everyone in the junior community.
No, and you're absolutely right. And that's something that I do remember very fondly. And I hope, that will never change, is that the junior families are very supportive of each other. And the kids, they might be duking it out for, a couple seconds on the track, but at the end of the day, they're off running around, shooting Nerf guns at each other, water balloon fights, all of the fun stuff, really creating a fun, positive family environment. And that really is part of the draw of the Junior Dragster program. Now, before we go, where can people find you on social media just to kind of follow your story and maybe potentially offer you, a sponsorship opportunity?
So my dad has a Gonzaga Racing Gmail. It's Gonzaga, GONZAGA RACING7519 That's our just business email. My Instagram is JACELYNKEILANI. That's really where you can find me.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, thank you, Jacelyn, for, spending time with me today. And, thank you from the bottom of my heart for representing the Junior Drag Racing League and the NHRA in such a positive and professional manner. You've done just amazing.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I honestly don't know what I would do without you.
Oh, no, absolutely my pleasure. And I look forward to seeing you, you grow and kind of, go through the ranks. And actually, one thing I forgot to touch on real quick is, do you want to continue doing this, or are you going to go to college, or what's your hope, after the Junior Dragsters is up?
I want to go to college and major in marketing, and I want to go to University of Tennessee. Haven't heard back from them yet, but that is my dream school. And continue racing and continue racing my junior comp and upcoming super comp. And my dad, he is willing to drive out to Tennessee if I get in and race out there with me and help me through everything. And that's when I say my dad really wants to do anything to make me happy. So he doesn't want to put down racing, and neither do I. So we are going to work as a team when I go off to college and work on that.
Awesome. Well, you hear that, University of Tennessee? Hurry up, get her the acceptance letter. And anyone out there wanting to sponsor a super comp dragster, reach out to Jacelyn. Let's get her, going through her racing career. So hopefully we'll see you going through those ranks here really soon. So awesome. Well, again, thank you again. And thank you for everybody for tuning in. Remember to go out and support your local drag strip, your local racetrack. Bring a friend. Let's keep racing alive. And again, I say it after every show. God bless you. God bless America, our first responders and military. We'll see you again next time on the top end. Good night, everybody.